the best intros, man.
It indeed does. And well, this guy to the top right currently down a game. He certainly has to step it up a bit if he wants to take down his opponent. To the top right we have in the red
TaeJa MVP.
A great Miro player, but he has to prove it. He lost the first map, lost his opponent.
And at the bottom left, his opponent in the blue, from a blue team called Team Liquid, his ID is...
Liquid TaeJa.
I talked a little bit about the statistics for MVP with a 70% win ratio against Terran. He's certainly one of the best TBT players there is. But we also have TaeJa on 64%. He played 61 matches against Terran that were recorded, and he won 39 of them. Very, very well done.
Carp Terran fighting. I love that, actually. That's actually really funny. No, man, he's the Baleen Terran. He's not the Carp Terran. I don't know what that guy's thinking.
Well, if you watch MVP play, he's kind of pulling a Grubby every single time he's on screen.
Yeah, he is.
Grubby was the first player back in Warcraft 3 that I actually saw doing that every single time. It's like, it's Genki Dama time, it's Dragon Ball all over again. He opens his mouth and he sucks in the energy from all the living beings around him. That's why you always feel so exhausted when they play a game after the match. It's like, oh my god, what happened? I'm drained.
I heard the song that he used for an intro in a tournament was called World Eater. And I didn't actually catch that, but Karn texted me, I remember, and he was like, MVP's intro song was called World Eater. He's like, it really suits him because he always has his mouth open and he just like beats everybody. And I'm like, wow, yeah, he's the World Eater, man. And well, he is going to be scouting right away. He's going to see his opponent's gas timing, and this is basically exactly what he saw last time. He's going to know what's up.
Exactly. We have TaeJa really comfortable with his build. It worked last time very well for him. And the thing is, he does not always have to go into this 2 expansion transition. He can go for Cloak this time. He can just mix it up a little bit. The fact that MVP spotted the early refinery does not really help him all that much. Of course it helps him, of course it gives him an idea of what's happening, but he can't be sure what exactly he's going to face. Last game he was a little bit too overconfident, he thought he read everything correctly, but then TaeJa surprised him, so this time MVP will be very, very careful about how he's going to approach the second map.
Yeah, and I feel like TaeJa is going to do something really different on this one. I think he's going to do something a little bit stranger. You can see TaeJa's win rate by gameplay time. Looks like his highest win rate by far is when the game goes between 15 and 21 minutes. Well, that's actually a really cool stat. It's my favorite stat Gomez has given us so far. I really like that.
Yeah, those statistics are pretty cool. So this is the time when TaeJa is the most dangerous, and we'll find out if this is true today as well.
None of the times under 50% as well, which is pretty cool.
He's a very strong player, not only in the TBT, but just in general. His best matchup is actually the matchup against Zerg, where he has a 71% ratio, which is insane.
Look at that, too. If he wins the first set, only 2 out of 15 times has he lost the second one. That is insane.
TaeJa is actually really funny. He's really young, and when he went to Assembly in, I think it was spring of this year, I was on the same plane, so I went with him and Paul to Assembly, and it was the first time that he was in Europe, the first time that he went to an overseas event, if you disregard Asia. And it was really, really funny. He was so nervous, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
he's a good kid, nice guy.
He is a really cool guy. You know, that's one of the advantages we have actually living out here in Korea, casting these games, is we get to really see what the players' personalities are like outside the booth. At this point, you can see that TaeJa is actually just making one.
And why do you say that? I want to add something. Everyone is always saying, yeah, but they're also nice. No, they're not. There are a couple of douchebags.
There are, man. I don't want to name any names right now, but they're out there.
So if we tell you that a player is a really nice guy, it's usually true. Yeah. There's some mean guys out there, though. By the way, one of the things that always amazes me is that even though players like MVP, for example, have 4 championships and are really great players, they don't get cocky or anything. They don't get necessarily arrogant. Those guys are really, really nice.
Nest's kind of cocky.
Okay. MVP, on the other hand, he's always backstage and he will always talk to you. He's a really, really nice guy, and most of them are. So this is really, it's really cool.
I love MVP, man. I really enjoy talking to him whenever I get the chance. He's really smart. He's a great player.
Yep.
He has a really nice girlfriend. His relationship with the team is really good. Like, he likes to support his players. Everything you would ever want in a strong player to be on your team. Represent IM. Well, double barracks going up this time for TaeJa. Not going to be going for that third command center build. This is a little bit tougher to do it on this map because on the other map, you can float to the third really easily. On this map, yeah, you can float to a third, but it's a third that can be easily attacked. So it's a little bit riskier.
And let's just face it, the one thing that MVP is going to do in this game, he will definitely make sure that that he knows about the timing of the third base. Last time he was a bit caught of a surprise, but this time this is not going to happen to him in the same fashion. So TaeJa is kind of sticking to the basics, to the roots, is going for the follow-up with the 2 additional barracks, and will therefore have a bit of a focus on bio.
Yeah, he's going sort of to a similar style to what we saw him do last game. MVP, however, is getting cloaked for his Banshees this time and not making a Raven right away, so spending that 200 gas a little bit differently. He's continuing to scout with his Hellions, which he is reactoring out, indicating again that he will go for mech play once more. Hellions swinging around the left side, but they will be denied. Nice map awareness by TaeJa, and he will actually catch one Hellion, almost getting a second, and with the medevac healing, he's not going to lose anything.
While MVP is now getting his third base, getting the expansion, I have to say that I like this timing with the delayed cloak. TaeJa here, beautiful, takes down the SCB, therefore delays the expansion a bit further. But coming back to the cloak, I like those delayed cloak timings because, of course, your opponent will be ready with everything he needs. He will have at least 2 command centers, he will have the energy, but it's just something that you usually don't expect around this time. Earlier on, you're kind of focused on, okay, what can my opponent do? If you spot the early gas, like, there might be cloaked Banshee, so you will be prepared, you will watch your base. But a delayed cloak Banshee, it's a huge investment, but it can do a lot of damage.
Oh, he's really trying to take this Banshee out, stimming in fact, and he's going to miss it.
Cloak is not done just yet, and this is a little bit unlucky for MVP. He spotted the expansion of TaeJa, took down the SCV, but he did not really get the chance to harass the mineral line because his cloak was not done just yet, and the Marines were just near enough, close enough to make sure that the Banshee was not getting aggressive. But look at this micro.
Yeah,
MVP with an amazing micro here.
Look at the positioning of it all. It's the best place to micro, where you can escape from both sides and attack from both sides at the same. It's a place where you can escape from any angle of attack, but attack any angle you want. And he will actually botch it just for a second there with several kills, and he's actually continuing his harassment in the main base now. If you can cancel Stim here, or at least force SCVs to come and repair, this will be pretty awesome. And he will. SCVs are going to have to come repair this.
It would have, of course, been really great for him if he would have been able to keep that second Banshee alive and then harass his opponent in the main base and at the natural at the same time. But he did a fair amount of damage with the first Banshee, and he also forced the scan, so it was definitely worth it. And look at this tech lab. Is he going to lose Stim?
No, he won't. And it was actually combat shields. Stim was already done. I made a mistake saying that earlier, but yeah, he does force... he forces the Banshee out with that scan, and
well, that was
this
close,
is combat
though.
shields and Sim versus naked Marines.
Uh-oh, and there are no siege tanks or blue
and
flame
he just dropped
yet.
every mule.
Ah, that hurts.
Every
that really
mule.
hurts.
That's a ton of economy lost.
The Marines, they die, most of them at least, but the problem is that the damage was already done. The mules are dead, and this is a lot of energy that TaeJa just invested into these mules. And wow, look at him chasing down this medevac. The Hellions on the low ground, making sure that the Marines are going to die no matter what. And this one medevac, well, TaeJa already abandoned it. He realized there's no way of saving it.
MVP really wanted that medevac, man. He was not going to let a single Marine say, well, if you kill all my mules, you will not leave this place alive.
This medevac has my name written all over it.
Viking missiles took it down, and at this point, MVP transitioning right into the same composition as last game. This time he has Cloak for his Banshees. Not going to be too important because he probably won't make any additional Banshees. Just got the one active right now. He's gone up to 3 Vikings. Still has that Raven. Blue Flame is finishing now. And it's 3 base against 3 base. The worker count is 60 to 62 in TaeJa's favor, but they're both on fairly even economies. And I have to say that I like MVP's position better because the composition he's going towards is actually going to be the better one on this map.
Yeah, the problem for him in a few seconds ago is definitely losing all these mules. That set him back a little bit, MVP. And TaeJa, so far, is doing a really great job. This harass of MVP did a fair amount of damage, and I was really scared that he would lose the upgrade. But right now, TaeJa with his composition in a good spot, and he has the mobile army, disregarding the tanks, but with all the Marines, he has a drop possibility. He has the opportunity to drop his opponent, but there are already missile turrets, so MEP sticking to the same composition idea last time. He's going for the mech army, and once again, mech against bio.
Yeah, mech against bio, one of the classic battles we see. And you know, it's not pure bio, but it's not marine tank. It's got marauders, and a lot of them. He's going heavy on marine marauder with his siege tanks, but I like that he has siege tanks in his mix as well. That's something that we don't see a lot of players do, but I think it's the best way if you're going to go bio. Nice placement on those turrets, nothing to escape those.
Yeah, this Banshee was a bit unlucky here.
He scouted double starport though, and he's going to start Thors as a result. I really like this. It's very smart because he knows he can't catch up in Vikings right away.
TaeJa, on the other hand, is now getting his 4th base, and he tries once again to be a little bit ahead in economy, while we have him with +2/+2 upgrades. And the thing with bio is, if you play it really well, you have to set up flanks. You try to flank your opponent, you try to catch him off guard, you try to drop. You have to play a little bit aggressive. MVP is very strong with this mech, especially when he can set up in a when he can set up his army in a position that TaeJa has to engage, where he has to fight, then it's obviously a big problem for the bio playing Terran player. But if TaeJa gets the chance of dropping, of being aggressive, of setting up flanks, of splitting up his army, then MVP with his very, very slow force might be in trouble here.
Yeah, and that's where that base comes into play. If he tries to attack that base at the top left, he's going to be out of position. Now this scan will actually reveal that he can move in with the Banshees originally, and now he basically can't deal with the Banshees without moving his bio into siege tank range. The Thors are going to do some damage, but, well, the Thor, in fact. Oh, he missed-targeted.
He missed targets, uses another scan.
But he's moving him on siege.
Oh wow, this could be bad.
This will be bad if he doesn't siege him now, but with the point defense drones, uses both of them. He has to be careful not to walk into his opponent's siege tanks, though. MVP actually up 20 supply right now. He's going to commit, and he will tear through this.
He's going to crush him. All those bio units are clustered up, and the blue flame Hellions,
He crushes the army, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say. He's looking like a world eater right now, man.
I'm losing my words here. He's completely steamrolling TaeJa at this point.
Yep.
There's just too much assault mode for the Vikings.
Unsieged and in assault mode, as you said. He is just tearing through everything. He's got SCVs out here to repair. Tank damage. The blue flame aliens tearing through the SCVs of TaeJa.
Boom.
And he's trying to hold here desperately, but he does not have enough units.
No, he does not. He clusters up his entire bio force, and MVP goes in with tanks and blue flame Hellions, and everything has been incinerated. He loses Marines within seconds, and then the rest of the army follows suit. And now we have blue flame Hellions in the economy line at the 3rd, even trying to attack here, but this is just in vain.
Yeah. It just shows how desperate he is watching those SCVs attack blue flame Hellions. And at this point, MVP, even though he's only up 20 supply, he has a perfect position on TaeJa.
MVP lost a lot of supply as well. He's at 96 at this point in time, but he still has 3 mining bases, and this was definitely a huge blow to TaeJa's economy. He set up his siege tanks, and he's trying to be like really passive about
and
it.
He found
Turtle
the
up.
3rd base.
But what can you do at this point?
Yeah, I mean, he has the 4th base, but it's been scouted. He's got Hellions there. You can't mine from it. He's going to try to dash in here, everything. Stimming forward, tries to move his tanks forward and siege them, but the Vikings tank the damage, beautifully done by MVP. And that is going to be it. He will take out the last siege tank. More bio streaming down, but he's got control of the ramp. And with control of the ramp, you can never move out.
It's 30 supply right now. There's the GG.
MVP ties it up 1-1. And a very similar game number 2. We basically had similar styles to the first game. We didn't see a fast command center, a fast 3rd base from TaeJa, but the styles that we saw from both players were basically identical to what we saw last game. Marine, tank, marauder versus just mech play with cloak this time, so slight variations.
Yeah, it was really well played, and I actually liked how MVP was able to just crush this force. He moved back with the siege tank. TaeJa moved in a little bit too far because his tanks were out of range, and then MVP saw his chance, turned around, and caught all of those bio units, especially in exactly this moment when the stim was wearing off. So that was really well done, and he saw an opportunity, he took it, and he was rewarded. He forces TaeJa into a 3rd game.
And we're about to find out what the map choice for TaeJa is going to be. Ooh, Whirlwind. A great map choice for the style that we have been seeing TaeJa do. It's going to be very difficult to mech on this map, because despite, you know, if you look at the splash screen for the map, it looks like there's a lot of narrow choke points, but actually there's a lot of big, wide open choke points. I mean, there's wide open paths, I guess to say. There are no choke points really on this map. There are a few ramps, but even the ramps on this map are massive, so it's going to be a lot easier to use the style that we saw TaeJa do. And as a result, I'm sure MVP knows this is a map that he may have to play on. Probably not going to play that mech style. Not pure mech, definitely. At least some bio, maybe just marine tank. He may play pure bio, but that's very rare for MVP to play like that.
Goes into a third game, and this is actually what I like the most. We had a couple of 2-0s yesterday. It was great matches in Code A, but still, I just love it when a best of 3 goes the full distance. And now we have one of the newer maps where MVP has to prove himself against TaeJa. And on new maps, this is always a little bit... Well, you can always get a little bit ahead of your opponent if you really practice on one of the new maps and you practice a particular matchup. You can kind of hope for that your opponent might not know the map as well as you do. So let's see if TaeJa has come up with something special to show us here.
We will see indeed. The map is loading. MVP versus TaeJa in our first match in this group, Group A of the round of 16 of Codes, brought to you guys by Monsieur J, GOMTV.